other day I was in a coffee shop line, and there I looked up and there was a TV on the wall. This woman's talk show was on, and all the ladies were sitting around the table. You know, they were giving their advice on different subjects about life and the answers that they thought were correct. You know, walking away from listening to them, I wondered how many of us and others take that in and we absorb these voices and the beliefs that maybe are coming from what we're hearing, and it doesn't quite have God's perspective in it. John chapter 16 verse 13, it says, "But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all truth, and He will not speak on His own initiative, but whatever He hears from the Father, He will speak, and He will disclose to you what is to come." That is such a powerful promise for us to take, and to have to take the time to listen, because there's so many voices in our lives today with all the media and with what's going on, all the connections that we have, even including me today. But what I want to direct you to is the voice that gives us the understanding when we are uncertain of our way. You know what? Jesus assures us of His direction by His word and by His Spirit that comes and ministers to our heart. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge God, and He will make your path straight." God's voice is indicated in multiple ways in our life. You know, such as an impression that comes upon you or a still small voice inside. His guidance is so critical to listen to because He nudges you and I in the right direction. You know, many times we don't like it, but we know it's the right thing to do because we know it gives us peace. Let's get our minds fixed on the Lord and focus on the truth of God's Word. That means we need to shut out some of the things on the outside and be able to listen to maybe what God is speaking to us so we hear His guidance. In Colossians 3:15, it says, "And let the peace of God rule in your hearts." Rule means not to be anxious. He takes it as He wants us to become good listeners in our time of prayer. Let's ask God to help Him to help us quiet our mind so we can hear better. You know, no worries. God will speak. Sometimes it takes time to hear, you know, but unfortunately, often His voice is drowned out amid all of the turmoil of our daily lives. Most of us are asking God to speak, but what's really necessary is that it's our hearing that needs to be adjusted. You know, taking a faith stance, that's believing and trusting and standing firm that God is speaking, and then learning to listen. And then what I'm learning really strong right now is obey. This will transform your relationship with the Lord, and it can save your life sometimes. You never know what can transpire. In Psalms 46:10, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." It's in the stillness, not the busyness, that we tune our spiritual ears towards the voice of God. The Lord always speaks to us in that still small voice. The most important voice you will position your mind to hear today is the Lord's. You know, He is the author of our story. He knows how to help us write it out. Invite God into your thinking to help you want His perspective on what you choose to do throughout this week. Can you share with me a moment this week when you heard the voice of the Lord? Maybe it's an impression, maybe it's the Lord speaking to you in different ways. I ask you this question: whose voice are you listening to? Make sure you leave space for Jesus to talk to you during this week, and let God refresh you in multiple ways. God bless you.